weekly creative session. It's time to get your creative on. Do you want to learn?
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this month's Digital Embellishment Designer Meetup. I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to the new theme song that we developed for Matt, but in addition to having
You guys have too much free time.
we have way too much free time. We do, but it's so
No,
much
we
fun.
don't. We really don't.
Honestly, we don't have any free time. So first, before we get started, I would like to first shout out to our big sponsors. Thank you to MGI Digital Technology for sponsoring the Digital Embellishment Designer Meetup, as well as Sabine Lenz at Paper Specs. Sabine, thank you very much for your continued support of what we're trying to do here, and to the Digital Embellishment Alliance, which is a part of the Foil Specialty Effects Association. So big thank you to everybody. We have a fun one. Hopefully, I mean, these things are never boring, and I always learn something. Let me introduce your host, Matt
Wait,
Redbear.
Matt has to get changed, right? He doesn't look anything like in the promo video.
You know, we need to work on that, Matt. We need to hook you up with a costumer before these things.
Okay, well, whatever you say. We'll just AI me into whatever you want me to be.
We could do that too. So, Matt, why don't you take it away? Today's theme is really going to be around surface appeal and the science and emotion of gratitude. And I'm kind of really interested to see how you're going to convert that into a designer conversation. But hey, I'm game. So let's play around. So, Matt, thanks again, and I guess the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for jumping on the call. I know it's a busy time of year. Oh my gosh, we're heading right into the holidays as of next week. And I'm just like, my head's spinning. I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding. Like, I look at my watch today. I'm like, no, it can't be the 21st. But, so things are kind of winding down here. And what isn't wound down is urgent. So everybody's on that, oh my God, I forgot to do this, or I've run out of time to do that time frame, and we have to roll with the punches here. As you can see, the machine behind me is sleeping.
Oh,
It's got a day off. So I get to sit in the room with it and enjoy the pin drop silence that this room affords when that machine is not on. If you've ever been around one of these embellishing giants, they are very hot, they are very noisy, they have lots of fans, belts, motors, and they do all kinds of stuff. But I still get that warm, fuzzy feeling whenever I sit here or stand there next to it and watch it run. There's just some kind of, let me tell you a little story. It's kind of weird. It's kind of related because it's based on this emotion thing. When I was a baby, like I was literally like 3 years old. I can remember being like 2 years old very vividly. But when I was three and a half, maybe 4, I can remember my mother holding me like just up here, my head was here. She's holding me. I'm looking in the same direction she's looking. So she's holding me with her back to her chest. And she's dancing, just kind of swaying and dancing over the record player. And we're both standing there watching the record spin round and round and round and round. And from that moment forward and up to this day, I'm still a fan of vinyl. And it's just this inseparable thing in my brain that it's the same thing when it comes to any of this embellishment. Once I saw it, I had that kind of connection to it, and I just get that feeling. It's kind of, I don't know if it's dopamine or what it is that goes off in my brain, but it just makes me feel something.
Yeah.
Anyone else get that same kind of feeling? What is it you feel?
Yeah, I mean, look at my shirt, buddy. I'm 100% there.
Yeah.
So you said to Julie?
Yeah, there's just this kind of, I don't know, curiosity and fascination with the whole thing. So I thought I'd approach this session a little bit different, a little more of a discussion on surface appeal. Like it's not so much, but it is the science of shine, but how it ties to the emotion of gratitude, or the emotion of reward, or the emotion of whatever it is you're feeling. And I know for every single one of you on this call, I count down here on the screen, it's a different thing for everybody. You know, maybe some people approach it completely technically. They see it very left brain. Some people see it very right brain, but it's very different for every single person that's doing it. I've never really had one single person or two single people stand next to each other and explain it exactly the same way. And that's what's so cool about these gatherings is we can all get together and express those differences and learn from each other and like, wow, I never thought of it that way, but that's kind of the way I feel too. It's always captured human attention, any kind of shine. And if you look out in nature, like you go out into the trees, the forest, the blue sky, not a lot of things are shiny. It's just everything kind of has a texture, it has a finish to it, it has a feel to it, but there's not a lot of shiny things out there. So you'd think of shine as like a polished metal, a glossy varnish, a foil stamped surface, reflective surfaces that are going to trigger that kind of, I don't know, unnatural kind of special kind of thing, kind of a different kind of sense of value. Um, and I know in print embellishment, this response is not accidental, but it's rooted in physics, biology, psychology. I know there's been a lot of studies on psychology, the reaction to the sense of touch, how that equates into numbers, and all the studies and proof of that if you touch a certain substance in a certain way and it feels a certain way and you get a certain reaction to it, that you're more likely to purchase it, you're more likely to pursue it. It at least brings more attention to it. I mean, all those studies are out there, but all of that aside, what are the emotions that someone is going through in order to bridge that gap between feeling the piece and actually wanting to keep it or take it home with you? You know, it's really hard to put your finger on it. And I know it's just really different for every single person that's out there. To me, that's the surface appeal, and it's a design choice when you're designing for this, and it's a sensory bridge that goes between the material science and your human emotion. So as designers, it's our job, or not really job, is it more like play, if you want to choose that, it's more like play. I know Sabine, you're more into the playfulness of the whole thing, and being able to communicate with other designers on how to make it more of a playful, less drudgery type of event. And that's one of my challenges is instead of looking at it as a task, that it's a moment of play. It's like, how do I unleash my creativity in order to achieve the effect that I want and satisfy the client for what they want? Well, scientifically, we get back to the science of the thing again, once again. Shine emerges from the way light interacts with surfaces, right? You know, you've got these polymer cured pieces like this, very simple designs. You've got just varnish, you've got just foil, varnish and foil, these polymer-based overlays with shiny foil on top of it. It's all ultra smooth. Everything that's very smooth has a lot of reflection to it. The smoother, the shinier. Of course, you know that the foil is like a vapor deposited metallic. It's usually aluminum that creates that shine. So there again, we're getting back into the science of it all. And then they put pigments in on top of the foil in order to create gold or rose colored or, you know, purple foil, that type of stuff. But they all reflect light in a focused specular direction. And so that's what creates the crisp highlights that our eyes interpret as luxury or something as extra natural.
Right.
So, and then you add to that as micro engraving, and then the raised polymer textures, the holographic diffractions, like this stuff, you get those holographic diffractions in
And
there.
And Matt, I don't know if you could like, and maybe some of the designers on the call, like that's right now the most popular type of foil that we're seeing in the market today is holographic. And when you kind of assign that to nature, I think other than mother of pearl, there's no real, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, it's extra natural. And like I was saying earlier, you go out in the woods, you don't see that. That doesn't exist in nature. It's
Yeah.
completely of our own invention for ourselves, for our purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that micro engraving in the foil, it's going to diffract that light, and then the light becomes sculpted. It splits and refracts, and then that generates into the feeling of motion, and it creates color where there is no color. There's another example of that. There's a butterfly. Blue is the rarest color in nature. It especially in the animal kingdom, like you don't have blue cats. I mean, they do have some terms of like fur or coatings they refer to as blue, but it's not blue in the way that we know blue. But you think of, well, there's blue butterflies, but those butterflies aren't blue. They have tiny refractive etchings in their wing surfaces that reflect the blue spectrum of light that's hitting it. Technically, it's not blue. There's no blue pigment, in other words. So just a little fun fact. But yeah, you get these refractive foils. You get some that are micro etched, micro embossed, and then you get all these crazy effects that, of course, make you think or feel luxury. Anyone else? What does it make you feel or think about?
What, blue foil or holographic
Or
foil?
holographic, anything that's just wildly outlandish.
Yeah, the funky stuff.
Yeah,
What are you guys playing with right now? Anything fun? Sabine, you see anything fun? Carlian?
Well, holographic is obviously popular, and Carlian will probably second that. But I also feel that the question is, how long lived is that going to be?
you think it's a trend?
Well, yes, personally, because I mean, it's new. Let's try it. But I'm more interested in, or I'm equally interested in, you mentioned micro engraving. So what you mean is the foil that already has a texture, and then you can simulate this with the MGI by adding the polymer on top. Is that what we're talking about?
The micro engraving I was referring to is the holographic foil.
Okay.
It's micro engraving that refracts that light, makes it appear
All right.
holographic.
Then I have a
I
question
think,
for you later on.
are you maybe talking about like the cast and cure stuff, Sabine?
Ooh, no, no, no.
No? Okay.
I'm saving this for later. I made a note.
Okay, well, the only
Because
other
I've been
thing
meaning to ask Matt this for a while, so I don't want
yeah,
to interrupt his flow, because very nicely, Kevin, you let him speak first, because normally he never gets to.
yeah, I usually don't ever get a chance to talk. It's like I have to
Well, that's why
like
we let you go first.
Yeah.
force a word in edgewise here and there between you guys, which is fine. It's fine. You always
No,
have a lot of
Oh,
Oh,
she's
look
got
at
a whole
that.
disco ball. There you
There
go.
we go.
okay,
That's-
so everything is cyclical, right? So the 70s, I mean, there was nothing more glitter and loud and out there, but it's getting reinvented now. And I think with print, what we're seeing now, it's this like shiny everywhere, right? It's almost overpowering. But what I'm starting to see is what you're talking about, these micro embellishments that are coming more to the forefront. It's a little bit more subtle. So
So you
the
mean what I'm
visual
talking about,
novelty
Colleen,
of,
right?
yeah, the visual
Yeah, you and I are
novelty.
on the same page. I knew
Yeah, the
that.
visual novelty will wear off. So we're going to go into these like micro surprise moments,
Yeah.
and it's going to become more visually complex. There's going to be a reward for your attention in terms of changing color or light, and it's going to be, I believe, unpredictable. So things like holographic foil, pearl coatings, metallic inks, shimmer and glitter varnish. It's triggering our curiosity, but it's also triggering us to pick up the product, view it for a longer time, and a stronger memory to the brand.
So, Carlian, question for you on that. Do you believe that like some of these embellishment trends follow, say, for example, the world of high fashion trends when it comes to the colors being used? Or, is there something, some type of a correlation where we can kind of see, or is it just random?
I think like print has its own evolution. So even though I think that print and fashion is tied together, well, I think life and fashion is tied together. But we're in such a enormous market now. The world is so much bigger. The way that we share is so much easier that there's really room for everybody, from the glitter ball right down to the more elegant and subdued. So I don't think that it necessarily falls in step with current fashion. There's elements of it for sure, always. In terms of packaging, especially brands, especially fashion brands, dictate what we see. They just visually more appealing and not more appealing, like at the forefront of it, because they're the ones that market first, right? But I think in terms of print embellishment, if you take it slightly away from packaging and a specific product, you're looking at like this childlike excitement, like seeing a iridescent beetle or
Yeah.
or how light reflects off water. It's like, oh my God, like what else can we do with it? But I do think that once we're over this kind of like just put shine as the main meal, we're going to start seeing more of these subtle little surprises. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's more like finding something special and then going, oh my God, I missed that on the first take, I think. So I don't think it's necessarily with fashion, but I think there's definitely like fashion trends maybe from the 70s, if I had to pull a correlation.
Well, it's everything that's old is new again, isn't it? Because we're servicing a generation of these of buyers, if you will, not just designers, who are discovering print. For them, this is new and so exciting, because there really is this. We've been saying it for a while, but we're really at this saturation point where they're like, oh my God, you can scroll at a speed that is unheard of, but if you have something in your hand that catches your attention, and that's what Colleen mentioned, that's where we're going, right? That's where all of a sudden print is really reliving a mini resurgence, if you will. People are like, wait, you can do what? And there's this permanence about print.
Right. And I think it's interesting that what you just said, and I want to hear from the rest of the people here what you guys are thinking, but maybe it's because there's so much noise out there today. You open up your phone, I have 5 text messages, 3 WhatsApps, I got a bunch of LinkedIn messages, and I got Instagram and TikTok, and so much noise. Like maybe holographic and maybe foils and embellishment in general are just like one of those ways that like you can't ignore it. It's like something that's going to jump out at you. So maybe that's why it's surging right now. It's because there's so much noise everywhere else.
There's so much noise, and the thing is that nothing is new anymore. And you look at that in music, there's a lot of the new music. It's just this amalgamation of all of the elements of all the music that's ever been done up to this point in time. And they're just arranged a little bit differently. And Carlene made a great point about things being cyclical. And these trends tend to come back up to the surface again, and especially with regard to the 70s, it comes back, but isn't it in more of a little bit of more of a pocket? Like there's a bunch of little pockets. It's not like overwhelming all completely new, but it's new to this pocket, this group of people, or it's new to that group or pocket of people who haven't experienced it firsthand. For me, I'm like, the 70s again. I grew up through all of that. I'm sure some of you did too. And even now, people are considering that what is basically antique and nostalgic is the 90s.
Don't go there. Don't go there, Matt. Don't go there.
Matt, I agree with you. I think, the 70s were noisy, and that's the environment that we're living socially, product awareness, it's noisy. Everything's coming at you. What I'm seeing with the micro embellishments, it's taking it down a step and finding rarity, uniqueness, individuality. So I think we all, especially designers, have a greater desire to find something that is unique and stand out rather than making that much noise. There will always be room for the noise, absolutely. But I think people in general are looking for communities and pockets, like you were saying, of where is it something that is different, belongs to a niche market, isn't part of what everybody else is doing the indie band revival, the live music in a back room. I live in Tampa, so I mean it's like it's popping up all
Yeah.
over. I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
And people becoming famous in small groups and having loyal followings rather than
Mm-hmm.
being sure, you know, it's just different.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's hear some of the new people here on the call. We have a bunch of new people. We have Jack, we have Emmanuel, we have Dan, we have Trey, we have a bunch of people off camera. First off, welcome to our little designer meetup. We are really happy to have you guys here. Would love to hear kind of some of your thoughts. What are you guys thinking about where this is headed?
Yeah, I'll go. I think so we're Candid Color Systems. We mainly do photography. So it's more like school pictures and sports pictures, things like that. But we also do a lot of novelties with photos and like trading cards and things like that. And that's where I take a big inspiration when I'm trying to design stuff from like Pokemon cards, because that's what I collect, but then also like sports trading cards, because I have a few of those as well. And I think for a long time, the rare cards have still had some kind of element of shine to them, but it might have just been gold embossing or a silver like look to them. But with better, cooler, newer foils coming out, better digital printing technologies like digital embellishment technologies, you can do things where it's like a reverse hollow effect and the entire card, you know, looks a little holographic, but there's ink overprinting. Or I think they've done, and I'm still kind of studying this, like varnish back on top of the foil to then provide like not only that pop, but also a texture on top of the foil,
Mm-hmm.
but the foil itself could still have micro engraving on it. So there's two layers of, you know, like distinction to it, as well as the original art. Um, so I think part of that is kind of really coming into fashion because it's so much easier to do digital embellishment. But I think as we continue on, it's going to kind of be how can we one up that next and make something that looks even cooler or even easier to produce, um, and more marketable.
That's awesome. That's great. That's really, and it's funny because you're talking about Pokemon cards. Like I think maybe subconsciously that's part of my obsession with digital embellishments is I remember being a kid and getting like a Michael Jordan like holographic basketball card, and I would just look at that thing forever, and it was just for me, I didn't understand how it worked. It was the coolest thing. I must have been like 5 or 6 years old, and I remember having holographic foil in like Trapper Keeper at school, and the slap bracelets had like all kinds of metallic effects to it. And I don't know, maybe there's some kind of that emotional connection that comes back to us growing up, and that's why. And even Matt, you mentioned that vinyl record. For me, I remember seeing embellishments as a kid, being like, "This is the coolest thing ever."
Mm-hmm.
And being able to do that in my professional life, where my kid's a Pokemon collector, Pokemon card collector too. And Trey, if Trey was to unblur his background, there's some really cool Pokemon cards right behind it, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, dude, that's a great.
They're not quite Pokemon. It's a haze and alabaster paper that was printed on an HP Indigo, but we took this from HP's trade show, D-Scoop, and it's just an example of like state-based trading cards that we want to do similar things to that, you know, whether that's the substrate or whether that's foil or a combination of them. Um, Something like that where it's not just, you know, like, yeah, it looks cool because I remember as a kid, like I open the pack, I get the shiny cards, I put the shiny cards off to the side, and then I have a stack of just the shiny cards. Those are the ones I like to look at,
Yeah.
not, you know, the standard ones that are pulled.
That's what my kid calls them. They call them shinies, right? They're like, "Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome."
Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We have the answers most likely.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Well, welcome to the community, Jack.
Yeah. And trading cards, I know. I don't know. Some people think that they're dead, but they're not. We're still doing them. We're still doing these
Oh, you're
crazy
doing it
trading.
too.
Oh yeah, and the ones that I just did, and this is gonna sound weird, Pope Leo. trading cards. How they said, oh,
It's for Chicago
here
Bears fans.
they're mixed media, watercolor, different artists, and I'm like, what do I do with these? You don't slap varnish all over the face of the Pope. I mean, it's just you have to work with all of the negative space. I mean, if you start slathering varnish and foil all over the Pope, it's kind of sacrilegious, right? I was raised Catholic, and it's like it's an unthinkable thing. But they're like, yes, we want these cards to be embellished, do your magic. So we're in the throes of doing that in the prototypes, but we've also been doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer and just all these various different effects on them, including the backs all have different varnish textures all over the back.
No,
So
that's all.
yeah, so that way you get that touch factor on the back as well. They're all laminated. It's a pretty fun project.
So believe it or not, like we're talking about cards, there's a company called Millennium who got bought by Pokemon. Millennium is a printer. They got bought by Pokemon just to do the Pokemon work. And there's also a company called Fanatics that does all like the tops and upper deck. And those guys are doing a lot of, believe it or not, variable data. So they're putting like 1 out of 100 embossed in foil, 2 out of 100, 3 out of 100 to basically bump that whole collectibles a market, which is a huge market, guys. Like it's a really big
Yeah,
market. So
it is.
we're talking about appreciation. I think you talk to a collector, somebody who understands that getting a 1 out of 100 or a 5 out of 100. So they're adding a lot of value that way too.
Yeah.
But it's not just trading cards that see this collectible aspect. You see this in books as well, art books and so on. It's really where variable data comes in and is helpful.
Yeah.
And digital printing in general, because these smaller quantities couldn't have been done without digital printing or embellishment.
I agree. And one thing I don't see enough of, and I don't know if this is just me, is art, right? So I think art is a great market, where whether you're talking about like photography, whether you're talking about recreating like brush strokes, like I don't know, is anybody kind of playing in that side on the call here? Are you guys doing? I know we have Candid, so you guys are doing a lot of photos. So we've seen like some photographers use it to do really high-end photos that they put in their studios, where you can play with depth perception based on what you put in varnish and what you don't. But are you guys playing with like actual brush strokes or recreating that kind of an engagement, or not really?
I think most of our artwork is designed to be a lot less intense like that. So it's more just like, hey, we have a template. Here's some variable data that comes in. It's their name and logo. And it might look like a party picture where it has like a white mat around the outside and then maybe the text at the bottom and then like gold as a rectangle around that. So it's really simple, straightforward, but it kind of elevates that print into like oh, this looks kind of like an old school film print or like a film enlargement, but it also has embellishment on it.
Cool.
But we'd be open to exploring things like that too, some more high art style stuff.
Yeah, like working with museums maybe, and even gift shops or online, there's a lot of opportunities today to go after that market. I was just kind of curious why I haven't seen more of that. And Manuel, welcome. You are also new to the group, and you are coming from Scandicore, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm pretty new here too. Been here just for a month and a half, approximately. But yeah, I've been doing graphic design almost for 11 years for now. But this for me, to be honest, is a little bit kind of also a bit kind of new in some ways.
Yeah.
Because I've been a fan of also like those cards that the basketball player cards or sport cards that you can see that they're very popular. And for me, as you said before, see that holographic effect, that kind of thing always blows my mind as well. Like how can they do that, or what is it that they do that to get that effect on these things. But yeah, now I'm here with the team, and then we have all these toys to to try and like foil things, and what if we put this layer first, and then what if we try, to overprint this, and what kind of the results we're gonna have. So, but yeah, so here I'm here for to see what other things that I can learn, and how can I be also part of the community and connect and see other things that we can learn together as well.
Very
So,
cool. Well, welcome, and I know you guys are now starting to play with inkjet embellishments, so you are in for a world of fun, my
oh
friend.
yeah. Yeah, I've been like really having a lot of fun here, like learning all this new machinery, or all the stuff that we can do. It's like the possibility that we can do and have all those machines like so close. It's like really fascinating, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I remember when I was at MGI and we first came out with the jet varnish. I'd go to bed thinking like, what are we gonna do? Like, there's so many ideas. Like, oh, a tire. Let's do a tire.
Yeah.
Let's do the tread in the tire.
Oh yeah.
The water. Oh, this. Oh, that. Oh, Spider-Man. Let's do a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like your mind just starts going a million different ways when you're first starting to play with it, and that's part of the discovery. That's part of the fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now with the new race UV the machine that we're having now is we just can't wait. We're training on it right now, and we just can't wait to start to do awesome things, and because we prepare samples, but we were so short on time as well, like for the Painting United, that we need to come up with something, right? And I created like the small samples that you see, like the
saw
small
the
ant.
ants.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
the ant
some.
and the
I have some.
yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, the Finish Pro 3D.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool little machine.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. So Matt, do you have any other things that you want to show us? You want to teach us? Is there a certain
Well, I just in the spirit of autumn, uh, pre-Thanksgiving, that kind of thing, I put together a few pieces of artwork to pre-visualize. If
okay?
that's something that anybody is interested in seeing, I can share my screen, and
Yeah.
then we can take a look at that. I think I've prepared 6 different pieces. They're rather minimalist, but the idea is to be able to digitally pre-visualize your work as you're doing it, and then you can critique yourself as well as create a soft proof for your client. And it's a really helpful tool for me as a designer, because I'm thinking, is this going to work? Is this going to show? Is this really going to be effective? Is the client going to like this? Am I going to like this? And sometimes when you're designing the piece, your head gets ahead of what technology can deliver. So if you have a more or less accurate representation of what it's going to end up, well, Emmanuel, you have the luxury, you have the machines right there. I have the machine right here. Sabine, do you have a machine right here?
Sure.
Where I can literally on this computer behind me, generate the file, send it to the RIP over here. It goes over to the machine over here. I load the paper, the stock, and run one piece. And it's like, yeah, I like it. I don't like it. But not everyone has that. And if I'm sitting at home, then, I kind of need to know that I'm heading in the right direction. And
So do you do a lot of iteration? Like you'll preview one, go back and change it, or are you doing it right?
I do. And I wouldn't say that it's tedious. It
Yeah.
is time saving, but it also, and I'll show you here in a minute if you really want to see it. And some of these pieces, I didn't iterate on them. I just generated the piece and put it up there. But I'm thinking, well, what if I did this, or what if I did that a little bit differently, or what if I made those triangles a little bit bigger? Or it's displaying at what would be a medium varnish overlay, and what if I did a double pass of varnish, or a heavier layer of varnish, or even a lighter pass of varnish, because on this machine that I have, you can lay down low, medium, high levels of varnish, and you actually step at many different levels in between in the order of microns. So a lot of people have that ability to do to lay it on thick or lay it on thin. And sometimes it's helpful to know what that's
Pun
going to look
intended.
like.
So as most designers will not have a machine in their
Right.
home, and I have to say I would probably have to break out a wall or two to fit it in my office. Is your recommendation in general that here's your design on the same sheet, put like 3 or 4 reiterations right away, so that
Yes.
you can test them in
Oh,
the
that's
same
smart.
run?
That's really smart.
Yeah, you make a
Thank
test
you.
sheet.
Oh,
can
I
make-
like-
Because we don't have the option. You know what I'm saying? And then if you lose also a lot of time. Yes, you can do one, but then I have to look at it. Then I send it back to you. You do another one. So a week later, we finally come somewhere. So the idea is probably to put as many options on a sheet as you do. You have one?
Yeah, well,
Don't tell me you have one.
no, this is the one that I showed earlier, where
Right.
they're all different versions of the same thing. And I just put them all on the same sheet and that in one file, and then that way it's literally one job instead of going back and going back and going back.
Yeah, but that's something, I think
Good point.
many designers won't think about this. So thank
Yeah.
you. I will nudge my peeps.
So a lot of times a client will send me a test sheet and it will be imposed on a larger sheet, like a 2028 or a 21 by 36 or something. It'll be 3 up, 4 up, 6 up, however many you're going to fit on that sheet. And they're like, what are my options? What can we do? So they'll send me a printed sheet that I'm going to test embellish, and I'll do each one of those in a different way, all on the same sheet.
Right.
And then while I'm on the machine, I'll be thinking of other ways to edit it, add a texture here, omit this here, draw this in here, complete that there, thicken this, thin this, and then I'll create additional sheets with those variations as well. So then you have 4 times 4 if it's a 4 up. So now you've got 8 different iterations. And then if you do it again, there's 16. So then you hand that to your client. They're like, holy crap, you really thought this out, when in actuality, you really didn't.
Right.
Well, no, you did, because let's face it, some printers wouldn't do that.
Well,
Some printers would print. I know for you this is normal, but not for every printer. Some printer will just print it out and say, here you go. What do you want?
yeah. And would a designer do that without the machine? Would a designer do that?
What, the different reiterations?
Yeah.
Yes,
To
they
prove
would.
to a customer. Yeah. So
They
it's really,
would, because they need to know. As you said, it's very hard to visualize this or
Right.
even feel it. And I know there's visualizers, I get that. But still, once you have it in your hand and you feel it, it's still different.
it is different. And okay, what we got to earlier in the very first few minutes of this whole session was that not only does shine resonate with us because it taps into our deep perceptual cues, it's dependent on the environment you're in. So if you're outside in full sunlight looking at it, swiveling it around, it's going to look different than when you're inside under this fluorescent light. And one of the things I can remember that was when we talk about like these specular reflections or specular refractions that make this stuff look so beyond natural, is I went to a jewelry store, and I was probably in my early 20s, and I don't have a habit of going to jewelry stores. It was just something that was in a shopping mall, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to walk in, and I mean, they know I'm not there to buy anything. I'm like a teenager, right? But I walk in just to see what it is and what a jewelry store has to offer. It was a new experience for me. It was an upscale place. And I walked in, and almost all of the displays had this matte black background. It was just as dead of a background as you could get. I don't know if it was like a fuzzy felt or something that completely absorbed all the light. It was just a very black, probably very similar to this. So then they had the displays, which were a neutral tone, like a gray or something that everything sat on. And on top of that display, they would have a gold ring or a diamond ring or a large diamond pendant. But it was the lighting that made it work. It was these, and I remember like doing this, looking up in there to what kind of lighting they had in there, because that's what made the whole thing work, to get those spectral refractions where those point source halogen lamps. So the light came from one tiny point source rather than a broad panel like what's above us. And if you were to hold that diamond under the fluorescent light of the shop, it didn't look like much. But underneath those point source halogen lamps, which were very bright and very intense, but the space looked very dark because of all the blackness that surrounded it, the contrast was just unimaginable. I'll never forget how dramatic that looked. So it's all about the lighting that you have on it too. So you need to be able to adjust your environment or change your environment to see how that piece looks under different environments.
It's funny because I remember being at a trade show and showing people samples, and some guy goes, "Dude, your gold foil is it's too black." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Your gold foil is just too black." And he's looking at this sheet literally like this. He's like, "Your gold foil is just too black." And then we're like, "You know what? It does look black." And we're trying to figure it out. And then we just we just looked up, and sure enough, it was just reflecting like the black ceiling.
Yep.
All you had to do was this. Now suddenly it wasn't so black anymore.
Yep. Our silver foil comes in a big cardboard box, and then we just cut the top off of the box and leave the big rolls of foil standing up in the cardboard box.
Yeah.
But the silver foil reflects the brown color of the cardboard, and we were always like, is that gold or is that silver? And you have to physically lift the foil up out to look at it to get that reflection off of it. Yeah,
it's basically a mirror.
Yeah. So Carlian says velvet enhances sparkle in the same way natural dark backgrounds make shiny appear more luminous.
Yeah, totally.
So it's definitely all about that contrast and the lighting. So I am going to share my entire desktop. So bear with me for a second while I drag this in.
Uh-oh, somebody needs to do some organization on the icons there, buddy.
Oh my gosh, my desktop. I just cleaned this up. This is very clean, by the way. That's very clean. I've got a 13-inch screen here, so I have to be very careful how I manage that.
I'm just razzing you.
I'll bet you are. So I need to get this thing out of my way so that I can get to what I need to get to. This is a pre-visualization of varnish on a print. Are you all seeing this okay?
Yeah.
So as I zoom in way on the edge, you can see where the varnish lays down. It's in a room with a dark side and a light side. And you can change the background too. So if you want to view it outside in a grassy forest, it's going to be, not that you're going to be able to view that's not where you're going to view your mail piece or your brochure or your piece of art. But basically you want kind of a decent representation with a variation of light, maybe a combination of natural and artificial light, so you can swing it around and get an idea for how that varnish is going to lay down on that sheet. So that was just varnish and a very simple piece, just some very simple masking effects to lay it down with some texture rather than some solid blobs. And also notice in the dark areas here, it's outside of the flower.
You did it on purpose?
I did that on purpose. It's outside of the flower on the black, which frames it. And if I were to print this on the machine behind me on, say, a very matte finish stock or a matte finish coated stock, then it would bring out that contrast even more. Similarly, we've got more texture here on this guy, a little bit of textures. We've got gold foil. Here we are back to my autumn theme, and a kind of a fiery texture in the big dark circle behind him. But I just love see how bright the foil is here on the light side of the room. Yeah. And then I flip it around to the dark side of the room.
Yeah.
And you really get to see.
Your foil's so black.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then on this side, you get to see more of the real timber that you get in this foil, in this gold foil.
And so, I mean, you usually use a lot of textures. Are you creating those textures yourselves? Are you downloading them? I mean, they're typically seamless, but where are you procuring all these textures that I see you use?
So some of them are MGI resident.
Okay.
They're on the editor, and when I'm on the machine, I can just add them. I
Right.
did not do that here, obviously, because none of this went to that machine.
Right.
Now, theoretically, I could send a file over there, edit it on that editor, add the textures, and
But
then
if you're a designer, you don't have a machine. Like how would you recommend they get those?
well, these were compiled in Illustrator, but the masks are all raster.
Okay.
And they were all created as a Photoshop pattern overlay. So I would mask the area that I wanted, put it on a new layer, fill it with black, and then assign whatever pattern I wanted to assign to it. When I go get a pattern for it, I literally go online. I have 2 or 3 different service bureaus that I go to. My favorite is Dreams Time, and I'll just search on seamless design under the category of illustration.
Okay.
And then I pull down a good EPS or TIFF file.
So I'll put that link up in for everybody while you're doing that. So what was the name of the site you use?
Dreams Time.
Dreams Time. It's the cheap alternative to Sabine.
Inexpensive, Matt.
Sabine is smiling. Yes.
Thank you, Sabine. That's the way to frame it.
It is one of the most.
Welcome.
It is one of the most inexpensive places to go get stock art. If you need something more upscale, I'd recommend Envato, because they will also include a lot of AI gen, including video generation. And if you can't find an image that you want, they have AI tools there to generate it. Yeah. But they are more, Envato Element is more slanted towards collections of things rather than just individual pieces searched by category. So, and I also get all of my stock video there, and it's licensable when you download it, so that there won't be any scuffle when you go to upload to YouTube or whatever. Okay. And you can also get a lot of audio there, sound effects and music. Interesting. So moving on, here's another one I did. The same artist that I actually love is Roman Samborsky. He's Romanian, not Romanian. He's Ukrainian. And I really like his work. It's very simple. He cuts little pieces apart. He takes samples of this and samples of that and cuts it together into these little playful, kind of simple little pieces. You can see varnish. There's a varnish streak pattern overlay on her coat.
That's cool.
And on the leaves, there's gold, and on these little streaks in the background, I put gold foil.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then, of course, that crazy, I'm just totally into that fiery pattern for this whole project. Put that on the umbrella, over the yarn pattern on the umbrella. Again, the autumn leaf theme and all that. Here's the tiny diamonds I was talking about. Like, are these going to show? But obviously they are. You can see them pretty well, even amidst that weird splotchy background. I put one on top of each splotch. And then, of course, we have some varnish on the black stem, which almost looks like a black foil. And then, of course, in the greater piece, there's purple foil on this background, this neutral area. Pretty simple, pretty playful. Just adding those elements to it just turns it into a whole different piece.
I love it.
Otherwise, it's just got that white background and it's kind of boring. It's like, whatever. But see, top to bottom, you don't see a lot of difference, but left to right, when you go from the dark side of the room to the light side of the room, that's where you see all the detail.
And to be honest, it's not always easy on Zoom to share this kind of stuff, right? The quality is not going to be the same as though, like, we're seeing a different quality than what you're probably seeing.
Obviously, that's why I'm trying to zoom in as far as I can.
Yeah.
So there's a little text. Can you see the texture on the apple?
Yeah.
And then I did a pink.
I like that. That's really creative.
Yeah. the pink foil. Actually, the pattern that's in the apple is the same pattern that's in the background.
Cool.
It's just at a different scale. So if I use my command key, I can scoot it up and down and then move it left and right. Then you can zoom in and really see that foil, see how it's laying down, what it looks like. And I think I already did that one, did I not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, listen, thanks for sharing this with us. It's oh, there's another one.
Yeah, this one was strange because it's a photograph of something that was printed. So you can actually see the halftone dots. And if you're a designer, you obviously know what a halftone dot is. If you've been working with printers, anybody that's in pre-press, but there's varnish, of course, on the corners, some crusty gold foil over the border.
Yeah.
And on the titles, it's pretty simple piece, nothing in the middle. But I just love the look of the vintage halftone dots. It's really kind of funny. But you can see the varnish laying over the word Thanksgiving. And of course, it depends on your monitor too. It's
yeah.
On my this is a little OLED monitor on my laptop, and then I have a larger ViewSonic at home that's, you know, obviously like, I don't know, 36-inch or whatever. And the difference between being able to see it on this little screen and that large screen is night and day.
So guys, listen, I know there's a lot of designers on this call. We're going to make this tool available for free for you guys to play with. So I'm just going to go ahead. We're still in beta, so we're just kind of playing with it. So I'm going to post a link here. It should take you to the end of December. So if you guys want to play with it, go buck wild, play with your designs, play with your different foils. Let us know what you think. And then maybe what we can do is at the next designer meetup, you guys can all bring in your reactor, you know, your pre-visualizers, and we can kind of share. That could be something fun to do. So I just put the link. It's free. There's nothing to pay. You guys can play with that tool and do the same thing that Matt was just doing, to iterate.
Yeah, there's some file prep. So if you have any questions, let me know. Be happy to work with you on that. And if you don't know how to get a hold of me, I'm definitely on LinkedIn.
He's definitely on LinkedIn, and I'm going to put his email for all of you guys to be able to bother Matt.
Thanks, Kevin.
On the chat. Okay, so thank you very much, Matt. Before we go, guys, we're coming up on time.
Yeah.
We have a very special event coming up on the 4th. And I wanted to let Sabine maybe talk a little bit about what you have going on, and maybe invite everybody to maybe come down and see it.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. It's a hybrid event. So the event as such is virtual, but we're pre-shipping boxes with samples, and the boxes alone the samples are more than $160 worth of samples. We officially closed registration yesterday, but we have a few boxes. Wait. We have a few more boxes available because in the last few days we got such a rush and people were like, oh my God. So we're like, okay, we're scrambling. We have a few more boxes available. But we hope they made it in time for the event. But the samples that you're going to see are amazing. We're also going to take a look behind the scenes. You all know that Amazon has this toys catalog, right? Kevin is like, yeah, I have a kid. What do you think? So the designer she and her team did the catalog last year, they did it this year, they did the window display. She's giving us a look behind the scenes of all the craziness that goes into, and it's not just a catalog, it's very interactive. And it's what we talked about, Colleen and I mentioned, and we all mentioned earlier, it's this revival of, wait, this is print. And how much time people actually spend with a printed catalog as opposed to if you just scroll through. Anyway, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to take a preview, a sneak peek at the hottest print design trends of 2026. So I've been doing a lot of research in the last few weeks. It's going to be very interesting. You can still get a few boxes. Don't wait. It's paperspecs.unboxed.com. Unboxed like the box,
I'm gonna go ahead and post that link for everybody.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
So that
Appreciate it.
Have it.
So the event is on the 4th, but we want to ship, obviously, we want to make sure the boxes arrive in time, and we all know shipping takes longer than ever. So
Good.
there
All
we
right.
go.
Well, good luck on your event. I can't wait to see it. I'm definitely going to be signing up. Hopefully, I'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
Matt, I wanted to give you a big prop for today's session. Thank you, my friend, for organizing this for all of us, and all of you guys. Welcome to the community. All the new people here. We're so happy to have you,
Yeah.
and we look forward to definitely seeing you next month for the next designer meetup. And in the meantime, I want to wish you guys all a really great Thanksgiving. Hope that you guys are able to really get together and have a good time together with your families. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time, and I'll see you guys soon.
Happy Thanksgiving,
All right.
everybody.
Digital Embellishment Designer Meetup, Matthew Redbear. Ooh, yes, the monthly creative session. It's time to get your creative on. Do you wanna learn?